Friday, August 18th. We're getting closer and closer and closer to Yes. I can feel it. I can feel it. It's coming. Football is on its way. I am ready. I'm ready. You're ready. We're all ready together. Thank you for being with me here once again. It's the Damon Bruce Show on Damon Bruce Plus. It is wonderful to have you along. And let me just tell you, Kyle Shanahan is often misinterpreted. You know, he is kind of an easy guy to read, although he's also a statesman and he can filibuster an answer. And there is no doubt that Kyle can sound like he's really giving a really good answer where he's sort of dancing around the subject. There's a lot of different things. And as I've told you this week, as we've kind of talked about already, forget about what Kyle says. Stop trying to write a think piece about a singular thought that might be coming out. There's really not an awful lot there to interpret. What can be not just interpreted, but seen as evidence of what he really thinks about anything is on the field. Tape don't lie. So it can, you know, as we've learned, that it's going to be Sam Darnold in the first half against the Denver Broncos, followed by Trey Lance thereafter, saving him for second quarter, second half. We'll see it all unfold. Who gets snaps, when they get their snaps, coming up Saturday, 5:30 kickoff, by the way, for the 49ers and Broncos. So think of it as a night game, because it is kind of. It can be completely not interpreted, but proven beyond the shadow of the doubt. Like, what message is Kyle Shanahan sending? Well, he's certainly sending the message that the public will not be consulted about this quarterbacking situation. And I know that there are several radio hosts who want to think that their words matter, and a lot of people think that if they put enough out there, it'll really change the way Kyle might feel or think about something. Nothing could be further from the truth. Kyle is not even interested in fan feedback and media feedback. He's not interested in doing what would be, I don't know, right to a very curious home crowd who is invested in Trey Lance, certainly more than Sam Darnold. You'd think that maybe he'd throw the home crowd a bone by starting Trey Lance. No. Kyle's got a job to do, and he is just in the business of evaluating the quarterbacks that he has to win this season. He's made up his mind. Brock Purdy gives him the best chance to win regular season games, and that's because Brock Purdy has won regular season games for Kyle Shanahan. Now, Sam Darnold, your turn. And that's what this is all about. You know, we know that Trey was put in a bad situation last week, just in terms of the entire team in front of him failing to execute. The situation that Trey found himself in that slow start in Las Vegas wasn't just his fault. That is one thing that Kyle said, and I would agree with that. There was failure around him. But when you are supposed to be a true NFL starter, overcoming the failures around you to look better or more comfortable at the very least is something that is an expectation in year 3 of a career, no matter how much you played, right? There is the J.T. O'Sullivan quarterbacking school video that I suggest you watch, whether you're a Trey Lance fan, detractor. And again, Kyle doesn't care how you feel about it. And J.T. O'Sullivan, I don't think is trying to set an agenda or create a talking point. He's just looking at film and quarterback play under film study. And J.T. O'Sullivan quickly shows you that even as things are wrong around Trey Lance, the most wrong around Trey Lance is what is going on, how he's processing the game, how, wide open at North Dakota State isn't exactly wide open in the NFL. It's just small windows are still to be interpreted as wide open. And that's something that Trey has to get used to doing. This is all about turns. Sam Darnold, this is a big turn for Sam Darnold. And then when Trey Lance does come into the game, it's also a big turn. And I'm not saying he's running out of turns, but eventually these turns got to look better than they have looked, and he's just got to force it. Trey, when it's your turn again, it matters. It matters. Now, I want to, before we go any further, thank from the deepest place in my heart Our sponsors, which I absolutely, I know I suggested I might get an Ike sandwich today. It's a Friday. I'm getting an Ike sandwich. I'm going to get myself an Ike's today. I think I'm going to go with both the new offerings, baby. I am an Ike's Reward member. You should be too. Make sure you sign up for the app. It gets delivered to you, and I am going to get the Arrow and the Florin, I believe. Yes, there will be a vegetarian sandwich coming to the house, and Jillian is upstairs, so we're going to try it. She's curious too. It's a Friday night, which means, yes, there will be some black and whiskey happening. I'm looking forward to a little black and whiskey on a Friday night. You should be too. Pick yourself up a bottle of black and whiskey at Bevmo or wherever you shop for your fine liqueur. And when you are in the inner rich, get yourself to Uncle Boy's. We love Uncle Boy's around here. We love Uncle Boy's, and you will too. Get a burger, get the lumpia, get yourself the onion rings, and you got a good burger to head home with. It's a great place to pick up a burger on your way home around San Francisco, a San Francisco original. Get yourself to Uncle Boy's. Love our sponsors. Again, Blacken, no whiskey pulls. I've got a few things to do after the show today, so I can't be a whiskey pull Friday, but it is going to be a delicious Ike's Friday. We will send sexy sandwich pictures over various forms of the interwebs, because that's what we like to do. Postgamin Damon is officially returning on Saturday. I am really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. You know, when I broke into the market, it was on KNBR back in 2005. By 2006 season, I was doing 49er pre and post game. Did so many shows from Candlestick. I missed that place. I knew I was going to miss that place. Even it was a dump and we were looking at it. I was like, this beautiful, cockeyed, funny-looking masterpiece has had so much NFL history written on its field. The memories just kind of came up off the grass at Candlestick. They really, really did. I'm going to miss it forever. Some of the most fun I've ever had on the air was as pre or post game host of the San Francisco 49ers. And even though it is in unofficial fashion, I want to welcome you back to Postgamin Damon starting Saturday. After the Broncos, we'll get going right at the 2-minute warning because outcomes really do not matter. We will know all we need to know by the 2-minute warning. So at the 2-minute warning, come over here to the Plus, Damon Bruce Plus. Subscribe, notify yourself that we're going live because that is the post-game show I hope you will be choosing, not just through the preseason, but obviously through the regular season and postseason throughout. We will be live after every single 49er post-game show. After every single 49er game, we'll be doing a post-game show. Be here for it. I'm looking forward to it. Some of the most fun I've ever had talking sports. It's going to basically be like a post-game show and Club Plus all rolled into one. There probably will be whiskey. We're gonna put it all out there, baby. Sip of the day. That was official. It's sip of the day. Sip of the day. I don't know. I saw some bets coming in. I try to not pay attention to the time. You shouldn't let me know about it. Like I'm the anthem singer that will rig the length of the anthem to hit the over. So don't let me know the time. Chat amongst yourselves. But there you go. Your first official sip of the day. And man, I'm really looking forward to doing 49er post game again with you unofficially. I got a hair that is like dangling off the end of my glasses and it's driving me. Now I'm hitting the microphone. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. Remember Trey Lance's rookie year? And, you know, as I think about what this team could possibly look like if they really were to carry 3 quarterbacks into the regular season. Do you remember how everyone talked about the Trey package? The Trey Lance package that Kyle Shanahan was going to bake into his offense that was going to be the change up to the 49er normal offense fastball. It would just create a different look. It would be different than Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, look, Brock Purdy, I think, is even more of an athlete than Jimmy Garoppolo. Brock Purdy's got crazy squabbles about him when it comes to eluding pressure and rolling out of the pocket. I saw that guy running for his life, and he survived because he's got a little bit more wiggle on him than you would think. But this is what Trey Lance was drafted to be, this big, dynamic, multiple-pronged, triple threat, double threat, quarterback. And I don't know if he's that yet. Again, it's time for him to put it on tape and look good and comfortable just in the offense. But what if I told you that this year, the starting quarterback was Brock Purdy, followed by your official backup quarterback was Sam Darnold. But Trey Lance remains on this team. And the Trey Lance package that you thought you might see during his rookie year never really materialized. Maybe that would be a little bit of a wrinkle. Again, the change up to the 49ers' normal offense is fastball. And when you do that, you wouldn't be risking the guy that you would think might be your backup quarterback in Darnold. So it just gives you a different lever to pull. Again, I'm trying to think of how it all fits together if they're all kept together. It's a fascinating roster construction study that the Niners must decide upon before this year begins. It's going to be really interesting. If Trey is a starter, if in your mind, Kyle has missed something and you think that Trey should start right now, look, he should look superior against the brand of player the Denver Broncos will have at the start of the third quarter Saturday night at Levi Stadium. It should be a time for him to shine. He doesn't, I think we could all agree upon this, he doesn't have much more time to be dimly lit. It's time for him to shine. I hope he does. There is a role for him on the 49ers this year. I know it. What will that role be? How could that role change throughout the year? Look, the 49ers are a QB injury away from reshuffling the deck at all times. We know that. So I think Kyle Shanahan has been once bitten and is now twice shy about that. I don't think Kyle has any agenda or want or desire for anyone to perform well under any circumstances other than, hey, should I need to call upon them, they're going to go in there and execute the game plan. I don't think Kyle wants Trey to play well to show that he is good trade bait. I think Kyle is close enough to an NFL season where he's only seeing this season through the prism of what can this guy do for me, not anyone else. I'm ready. So the San Francisco Giants start a Hell's Kitchen stretch of their season. Here we go. 3 with the Braves in Atlanta, 3 with the Phillies in Philadelphia. Then you come home for 3 more with the Braves at 24 Willie Mays Plaza. Man, the Braves are really good. And tonight you get the best version of the Braves because they are sending the guy who is probably going to win the Cy Young in the National League, Spencer Strider, to the mound against Alex Cobb, who's certainly been a bright spot for the Giants, but a struggling offense. Probably doesn't want to see Spencer Strider, who leads baseball with 217 strikeouts. He's tied for the major league lead in wins. This is Cy Young stuff that he is putting up. Ronald Acuna is a hitting machine, carrying one of the best averages, if not the second best average in all of baseball the last time I looked. He's definitely a base-stealing machine, leading Major League Baseball in stolen bases. Matt Olson has gone on a tear that has seen him go rocketing past Shohei Ohtani, certainly in RBI. He is the Major League RBI leader because he is the Major League home run leader. Matt Olson is mashing right now. You got Austin Riley, who, if you sat around and talk about the Atlanta Braves, you might not even bring up Austin Riley. This guy is playing third base like frickin' Wade Boggs, man. He's really good over at third base. He's got 29 home runs. This is a kid who can play. So how about this? He's the best third baseman they've had since Chipper Jones, and that's Chipper Jones in Atlanta. Like it dropped that to that perfect 1 degree in temperature that makes coffee go from really, really good to very good to perfect. I must be sipping at about 182 degrees right here. I don't know. But maybe that's even a little high. You want it to come down, maybe 160s. I should temp it right now. I should keep a digital thermometer and be really scientific with sip of the day temperatures and numbers so we know where that sweet spot is. Meanwhile, the Giants offense cannot find the sweet spot. I wish them luck against the slugging Atlanta Braves. Very, very moment of truth week and a half of baseball here for the San Francisco Giants after they just got read, let's call it a riot act by the Tampa Bay Rays, who looked a lot better. A lot better. I saw some news about NCAA conference realignment that is specific to the Bay Area, which is obviously where we're all eating. Oregon State wants to keep the Pac-12 together and rebuild the conference. Washington State, let's call them the states. The states kind of want to keep the four schools together best they can, see how they can rebuild. Cal and Stanford aren't as excited about that deal. Obviously, they sort of said if the ACC makes an overture to us, we will consider ACC entry. Well, the ACC thought about Cal and Stanford and basically said, we're good. Nah, a little too far. Little brand of uncompetitive. Do Cal and Stanford instantly add some academic credibility to the ACC? The answer is yes. I mean, Cal and Stanford are the two schools that would add even further academic credibility to the Ivy League. That's the kind of universities we're talking about. But when it comes to half-empty stadiums watching football, unfortunately, Cal and Stanford are leading the Pac-12 in that more often than not. The former conference known as Pac-12, the artist formerly known as Pac-12. Is that what we call it now? It's like when Prince came out with the symbol. Apparently, the ACC is not that interested. So Cal and Stanford and the states, you might have to rebuild unless you figure something out. Condoleezza Rice even reached out to the ACC on behalf of her alma mater, Stanford. I guess President George W. Bush did the same for Southern Methodist University. His wife went to Southern Methodist. Barbara died in 2018. But, I guess a man who went to Yale isn't going to get out Texas. What's that call? This is a really bad Dana Carvey version of a bad George Bush impression. Barbara's last words were she hoped SMU got to the ACC one day. How's that call go? All due respect to Dana Carvey. Sorry there. How's that phone call sound? Go Stangs. Red Ponies. It's a Saturday Night Live skit. Condoleezza Rice, his calls for Stanford to join the ACC, and George Bush's calls to get Southern Methodist in the ACC. That's Saturday Night Live waiting to happen. I saw in NBA news, it's really not NBA news, it's NBA conversation, conjecture, rumor. We got schedules coming out and there are podcasts and columns dropping about how this schedule is the Lakers got a break, the Warriors got it tough, relax. It's an NBA season. It'll figure itself out. It's too far away to start being worried about the NBA, but it's coming. Andre Iguodala on the Gilbert Arenas podcast with Josiah Johnson, the king of Twitter. He was talking about how Andre Iguodala was saying that Jordan Poole is going to have a hell of a year coming up. Like, he got 20 in a down year, in a rough year, in an embarrassing, everybody blaming him for everything going wrong year, and he still got you 20, which was kind of the point that I was making. Like, whether you like him or not, this kid can play in some ways. Andre Iguodala says Jordan Poole's going to get 30 a night at home in Washington. And one of the reasons he gave was all the baddies in the stands. I'm quoting him directly. The baddies in the stands are going to bring out the very best in Jordan Poole. So there you go. As it was brought up, Chocolate City. DC is going to be good for Jordan Poole. I'm rooting for him, man. The Wizards are officially about to wear the crown of my favorite bad basketball team to watch. I usually have one of those a year. Who's a team that's not very good, but they're going to kind of be fun to watch because I'm interested in them for some weird reason. Ta-da! Washington Wizards finally get the crown. I can't even tell you how many years the Chicago Bulls have worn that crown. One last thing this afternoon, and to let everyone know where I'm coming from, so there's absolutely no question about any journalistic integrity when it comes to the Indiana Hoosiers. I have absolutely none. Let's go Hoosiers. Let's go Hoosiers. Mike Woodson gets paid. I like it. Indiana's 44-26 under Mike Woodson over the past 2 years. It's not a great number, but it's a better number than just about anybody before them put up in a 2-year span. Indiana's been in the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row. The fact that I'm bragging about that means things have not been good around here lately. He's getting a $1 million annual raise. IU announced that Woody's new average salary of $4.2 million makes him one of the Big Ten's 3 highest paid coaches. Michigan State's Tom Izzo is ringing that register. He's getting $6.2 million a year on a 5-year contract that he reached back in August of 2002. So Mike Woodson is now north of $4 million. He's going to get to 5 to 6 to 7 because it goes up annually by $1 million. So he'll be worth it by then. And I'm just telling you right now, I doubted the hire. I'll be completely honest. I thought Mike Woodson, a little bit too much NBA, a little just not recruiting ready. He might be a good X's and O's coach. He might speak the language of modern basketball, but is he going to speak the language that is going to fall on the ears of young recruits? And the answer is yes. Mike Woodson's a hell of a recruiter. Indiana's got a great recruiting class coming in. They're trying to set up another big one. For this news to come out on Woody right before September rolls in, all your 5 stars and 4 stars are going to try to show up to get to homecoming when there's not a lot of football going on there. So, come on in and take a look at this is good news to get before high profile recruits get to campus. That happens in September. Woodson is deep in IU recruiting for 4, 5 stars across the board like no other real Indiana coach has ever been. Like Bob Knight would land some McDonald's All-Americans, but they were far and few between. And then he'd get angry at Luke Recker and want him off the team, chase him away. Woody knows talent. He knows how to go get it. He is basically recruiting from New York City down to the tip of Florida. He's turning the Midwest and that Eastern Seaboard into very fertile IU recruiting ground. We're not trying to draw a 500-mile radius around Indianapolis and just recruit there. Which, look, if you can get all the talent right there in that radius, you can win national championships with just that talent. That's how much talent is in the state of Indiana. But to have all sorts of, real 5-star NBA level talent that would just be, off to Kentucky, now considering Woody and the Indiana program a great place to get ready for the next step because Indiana is sending kids now to the NBA. I like it. This is better than it was under Crean. It was better than it was under Kelvin Sampson, obviously. We shouldn't even talk about him. And it's better than it is under Archie Miller, than it was under Archie Miller. I am really happy. Mike Woodson, congrats on your raise. Go get him. I am, again, a lot of unbiased opinion right here. Mike Woodson will be the man to deliver Indiana's 6th national championship. I believe that. Go get him, Woody. And head to the IU credit union with a big smile on your face. Right there. What, across 17th in Indiana? They still got the credit union right there. That ATM is going to be firing for Mike Woodson. Ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. Credit union. I probably still have an IU credit union account with like $24 in it. I'll come back. I'll take it to Dave's Convenient. I'll get a meatloaf sandwich. I know what to do. Bloomington. So there you go. That concludes the Indiana portion of the show, so the candy stripes can come off. I want to, before we get into Club Plus, remind you, or let you know, this isn't a reminder, this is breaking news. A little later this afternoon, I am taping a conversation with Mark Adams from 49ers Web Zone. We're, of course, going to talk about what we want to see when the Denver Broncos come rolling in. But he is now serving up a podcast series that is called The Hall of Fame Case for Roger Craig. I have always stumped for Roger Craig. I'm certainly interested in the podcast, and we're going to bring that conversation to you a little bit later on. A Home and Home with Larry Krueger should be posting, dropping like a new album later on tonight. Larry and I are going to get you ready, tell you where your eyeballs should be in the 49ers and Broncos game coming up on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff from Levi's Stadium. And when we reach the 2-minute warning, I want you to reach for YouTube, click on the plus, because I will be live. Postgamin Damon is returning triumphantly right after 49ers and Broncos wrap up. Join me at the 2-minute warning. We're just going to hop right in. So thank you very, very much for tuning in. If you're listening on the podcast, it was wonderful to have you along today. And let me just tell you, as we get ready for a little Club Plus here on YouTube, that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Ooh. Oh, come on, plug it in. There we go. Yeah. Oh, wait. I got that light on, too. Hold on. No wonder why it looks so lit in here. I have a light that I normally don't have on. And, of course, to really light the segment, ta-da! Makes it dark and sexy. Yes. All right. What are we talking about here in the chat? Let's open it up. What do we got? What do we see? Where are we? Where are we? Hold on. Wait, I saw what I thought, and I don't want to miss it today. Boom. The first one I see. A super chat from San Bruno Mike, $20. I'm in and out today. Boss in town, so you can't plus it up. But he took the over on Sip of the Day, and apparently that hit. So thank you very much for cutting me in on the winnings, Mike. I did not know. Mike and I are not in cahoots on this. I'm trying to make sure you can still see how not very handsome I am. But thank you very much, San Bruno Mike, for throwing down right there. I do appreciate it. Let's see what we... Oh, wait. Oh, I'm scrolling down to the bottom, and I saw another one. Drew Down. Look at that, dude. It must be Friday payday. Thank you very much. Greetings from H-Town. Love the plus and my plusers. Thank you, Drew Down. Thank you very much. You in Houston? There you go. Oh, there's a ruling. Rich is saying the under hit, bro. I don't know. We'll look at it this way. I'm glad I got the cut. Clown blocking coming to a plus near you. I don't even know. What do we got? Some nonsense? What do we got? Nonsense on here? I don't know. By the way, Damon's shows comes on at 9:00 in Helsinki. What if we did a plus meetup in Helsinki? Let's do that. Here we go. I know what to do. There we go. Suckers get blocked. Look, here's the thing. Just ignore. That drives them nuts. Ignore them. It's the best. What have we got? What have we got here today? People were, there's just, everyone got rattled. Everyone got rattled by the, by the douchebaggery. We took care of it. We took care of it. There is Chef A. Chef A's blocking like a fullback for us. Thank you very much. RIP Cougar Rebel says, Damon, I remember you wanted Brad Stevens from the Celtics. Dude, Brad Stevens, again, Brad Stevens should have come to Indiana. He should have come to Indiana. He obviously didn't have fun coaching in the NBA. He loves coaching more than I think he likes being in the front office. Brad Stevens in the NBA, I don't know if it would have worked. Brad Stevens at IU, take Butler, put Butler on steroids. He could have won titles and made more money. It's Indiana, baby. It's Indiana. It's seriously, Indiana is officially like a better coaching job than all but 15 NBA jobs, maybe? I'd rather be the man in Bloomington than just another guy in the NBA. But again, I put candy stripes on to talk about the Hoosiers. I am biased. I admit that. Dana Carvey, Damon from True Blue Forever, still hilarious. Yeah, I mean, gosh, Ray and I had Dana Carvey on the show to promote the podcast that he's doing with David Spade. And it was awesome talking with Dana Carvey. That's one of my Saturday Night Live Hall of Famers. I love Dana Carvey. And he was a super nice guy, and he at least very much pretended to know who I was because he's a Niner fan, he's a Giants fan, and he's like, yeah, I listened to you on Postgame, which, again, I can't wait to start doing again Saturday night, baby. Can't wait to start. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. Otis Bird III says, look, man, Cal and Stanford might as well just go to the Mountain West. They can form new rivalries with San Jose State, Fresno State. Here's the thing. Would they turn their nose up at that, though? They shouldn't. Those would actually be two schools that are more respectable than and a lot of people want to admit on a football field. Plus, you wouldn't have to spend much to travel. Those are bus rides, not airplane rides. Put a football team on an airplane, that gets expensive. Put a football team on a bus, much less expensive. Wouldn't be prudent. M for Marlon. I don't think I've seen you in here before, Marlon. Thank you very much. M for Marlon. Wouldn't be prudent. JJ Raider up on the Twitch, and I thank you. Matt Olson was good on the A's. It sucks to not have him on the team anymore, but in reality, it's the best for him because now he's on a team that cares. You are right. It's sad. I don't want to get in. I'm not going down the road. Not going down the A's path and road. We got Sporticus saying July and August, often referred to as the dog days of summer. What they really are the portion of the schedule where the cream rises. There's a portion of that for sure. There is some to the dog day meandering through, but look at it this way. It's hitting the Giants in two directions right now. Not only is it one of those, everyone's a little tired, little nicked up, little banged up, little dinged up, but everyone is also playing a couple of the best baseball teams in baseball. And if you fancy yourself one of those, you got to win a game, two games in Atlanta. Atlanta's really good. Really good. Shouldn't the Ivy League be rebranded as the Brainiac Conference? Not bad. Did you know why it was called Ivy League in the first place? Here's a little something that you might not know. La Profesora, if you are listening, you'll be happy. I'm going to play the role of teacher here. So the Ivy League was Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, and Princeton. Those four schools were the first big four universities that kind of came together there. The Roman numeral for 4 is IV. So they were kind of the original Big Ten, where they stuck with a number that didn't even represent the conference anymore, but they stuck with it. It's not Ivy like growing brick on Ivy, Wrigley Field Ivy. That's not where IV comes from. It is the Roman numeral 4, IV. That's why it's the Ivy League. See? Look at us. Learning today. Oh, here's La Profesora. I've reached the top of where the chat starts cutting people off. Says, sorry, but having two colleges on the Pacific Coast being in the Atlantic Coast Conference, it's just wrong on every level. Indeed. It's nuts. I can't believe that two California schools are in the Pac-12 or in the Big 10, wherever we are now. Big 18. It's just insane. It's really insane. What do we got here? Damon, seems you pissed off some childish content creators. What do we got here? Damon, seems you pissed off some childish content creators. What do we got here? Damon, seems you pissed off some childish content creators. What do we got here? Damon, seems you pissed off some childish content creators. What do we got here? Damon, seems you pissed off some childish content creators. Welcome to the party, pal. What do we got? There we go. So JJ Rader explains why we sometimes see him on Twitch. I have Twitch on in the background and YouTube for the chat. Look at you, JJ Rader, serving the show up 2 different ways. I like that. I like that an awful lot. T from the 203 saying Damon rattling the cages of child Niner fans and content creators makes my. Here's the deal. I don't even care. I'm not here to talk to them about them. I'm here to talk football, and you can't really talk football until the football begins, which it will soon. Maximum.
I mean, what I suggest is everyone just take a chill pill, man. Calm down. Calm down. That's all you need to do. Just calm down. Football's coming. There'll be enough aggression in that moment where everyone doesn't need to be all aggressivo now.
It's good to have you here. Thanks so much for stopping by. And again, look for a few more videos dropping today. Great conversation with Larry Krueger. Really good conversation with Mark Adams coming up about Roger Craig and why he should be in the Hall of Fame. He absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. It is really, really good to have you here. Thank you so very much for joining me. And I'll just tell you that, we're going to be back at this tomorrow in postgame. So I hope you're coming on back yourself. And I just want you to remember that you don't have to go home. You don't. But on a Friday, you can't stay here.